Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at how universities are tackling mental health support for students and staff.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it is, and we've got a really fascinating source for this deep dive. It's a podcast script outlining a potential collaboration between a mental health initiative and two universities in Sheffield, in the UK. But don't worry, this isn't just about Sheffield.
Right.
We're gonna pull out some universal insights that apply to universities everywhere.
Okay.
And talk about why this matters to you, even if you're not, you're not directly connected to academia.
Yeah, I think that's really important because this the source material is interesting because it kind of goes beyond just highlighting the problem. It actually offers like some concrete solutions.
Okay, so let's jump into that.
Yeah.
Our podcasts and gamified platforms really enough to address something as complex as mental health? I mean, they seem kind of a bit gimmicky, maybe.
Well, yeah. I mean, think about it this way.
Okay.
This source material highlights that 1 in 4 students, 1 in 4, experience mental health issues during their university years.
Really?
And we know that the traditional methods of support often face barriers.
Like what?
Like stigma and limited accessibility.
Yeah.
So podcasts and interactive platforms offer a way to kind of reach students where they are on their own terms.
That's a good point, especially now.
Yeah.
So much of student life happens online these days, right? So it makes sense to meet them there.
Yeah.
But what about the staff?
Oh, that's a good question.
I mean, aren't they dealing with their own set of pressures?
Absolutely. This source material actually addresses that.
Right.
Faculty and staff often face intense workloads, pressure to publish research, and the challenge of balancing teaching with all their administrative duties. So all of this contributes to stress and burnout, just like in any demanding profession.
Okay, so we've got this huge need for mental health support across this entire university community, right?
Right.
And this initiative in Sheffield is proposing 2 key tools.
Okay.
A mental health podcast series and an interactive platform called B-Spatial.
Okay.
So tell me more about this B-Spatial thing.
Yeah.
What exactly is it?
So B-Spatial is a digital platform that takes a gamified approach to mental well-being.
Okay.
You can kind of think of it like a fitness tracker.
Yeah. Okay.
But for your mental health.
I see.
It includes things like challenges, rewards, tools for tracking personal growth.
I'm picturing like earning badges.
Yeah.
Completing like mindfulness exercises or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of cool. But how does that actually like translate to helping with something as serious as mental health?
It's about engagement and positive reinforcement. So B-Spatial leverages game mechanics to make engaging with mental well-being more fun and less intimidating.
I can see that.
Especially for those who might be hesitant to seek traditional help.
Right. I can see how that would be appealing to students especially.
Yeah.
But isn't there a risk of over-reliance on technology? I mean, can an app really replace
That's a good point.
human connection and professional help when it comes to mental health?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
But, this source material doesn't suggest that these tools should replace professional help.
Okay.
It's more that they're designed to complement
and
enhance existing support systems by providing additional resources and promoting, proactive engagement with mental well-being.
All right, I'm starting to see how this could work.
Yeah.
So we've got podcasts for delivering information. We've got B-Spatial for interactive engagement.
Right.
What are some specific examples of how these tools could be used to actually help students and staff?
Well, the beauty of this approach is its versatility.
Okay.
Imagine a podcast episode designed specifically for students dealing with exam stress.
Okay, yeah.
It could provide, practical tips for managing anxiety, techniques for improving focus, maybe even interviews with students who have successfully navigated similar challenges.
Oh, that's a really good example. And then they could like hop onto B-Spatial.
Exactly.
And complete like a journaling exercise, reflecting on their own stress triggers.
Yeah.
Or practice a guided meditation for calming exam nerves.
Exactly. You got it.
And because it's on B-Spatial, they can track their progress.
Right.
maybe earn some badges for completing the challenge, and even connect with other students in the class who are working on the same thing.
Right.
It kind of creates that sense of community.
It does.
And shared experience, which could be
exactly
so important, right?
It is, yeah.
When it comes to mental well-being.
Absolutely. And all of this additivity generates valuable data that the university can use
to
understand how students are engaging with the material and identify areas where they might need additional support.
So it's like this continuous feedback loop.
Yeah.
They're learning from the data and then using it to improve the support they provide.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
But we've been focusing a lot on students.
Oh, right.
What about the staff? How can these tools be used to address their specific needs?
So let's say a university is launching a new staff wellness initiative.
Okay.
They could incorporate the mental health podcast series into their program. Encourage staff to listen to episodes on topics like managing work-life balance, building resilience to burnout, or even navigating difficult conversations.
Okay, that makes sense. And then they could use B-Spatial.
Exactly.
To set personal goals related to their well-being, like prioritizing exercise or carving out time for mindfulness practices.
Exactly. And because B-Spatial collects anonymized data, the university can start to see trends in staff well-being.
Okay.
Are there certain departments where stress levels are consistently high?
Yeah.
Are there specific times of the year when people are feeling more overwhelmed?
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
So instead of waiting for someone to reach a breaking point, they can use this data to implement preventative measures.
Precisely. They could offer targeted workshops, create peer support groups, or adjust workloads to alleviate stress during peak periods.
That really is shifting the paradigm.
It is.
From reactive to proactive.
Yeah.
It's about creating a culture of prevention and early intervention.
Exactly.
But let's kind of zoom out a little bit.
Okay.
What does this approach mean for the overall culture of universities?
Well, by embracing these kind of innovative tools and promoting open conversations about mental health, universities are sending a powerful message.
How's that?
They're saying that well-being matters.
Okay.
It's not something to be swept under the rug or dealt with in isolation.
Yeah.
It's an integral part of a thriving academic community.
It's about normalizing the conversation.
It is.
Right. Making it okay to not be okay.
Exactly.
And creating a space where people feel safe asking for help.
Exactly. And that, that cultural shift can have ripple effects.
Oh, really?
Far beyond the university walls.
How so?
When institutions prioritize well-being, it sets a powerful example for other organizations and for society as a whole.
So it's about recognizing that that investing in mental health isn't just the right thing to do.
Yeah.
It's also the smart thing to do.
Absolutely. When people feel supported and valued, they're more likely to be engaged, productive, and successful in all aspects of their lives.
Right.
This benefits the individual, the institution, and ultimately society as a whole.
This has been incredibly eye-opening.
It has.
We've seen how universities can leverage technology and data to create more effective and personalized mental health support systems.
Right.
But I think there's another piece to this puzzle.
What's that?
That we haven't quite addressed yet.
Okay.
The benefits
for
the universities themselves.
All right.
Let's explore that in the next part of our deep dive.
Let's do it.
Stay tuned because this conversation is just getting started.
Absolutely. Welcome back.
So we left off talking about how universities can leverage data from platforms like B-Spatial to create more proactive mental health initiatives.
Exactly.
We talked about identifying trends in stress and burnout.
Yeah.
But what does that translate to in practice? How does this data actually get used to help people?
Well, this is where the connection between the podcast series and the B-Spatial platform gets really, really powerful.
Okay.
Imagine a psychology class where students are assigned a podcast episode on, let's say, emotional resilience.
Okay, so instead of a dry textbook chapter, they're getting this engaging audio content that feels more relevant to their lives.
Exactly. And it doesn't stop there. After listening to the podcast, the professor could then assign a related challenge on B-Spatial.
So they're taking what they've learned
and
actually applying it.
Yeah.
I like that. What kind of challenge are we talking about?
It could be a reflective journaling exercise where students explore their own personal experiences with resilience, identify their strengths, and develop coping strategies for dealing with setbacks. Or it could be a guided meditation. Focused on managing stress and cultivating a more positive mindset.
And because it's on B-Spatial, they can track their progress, maybe earn some badges for completing the challenge, and even connect with other students in the class who are working on the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It creates that sense of community.
It does.
And shared experience, which can be so important.
It is.
When it comes to mental well-being.
Absolutely. And all of this activity generates valuable data that the university can use to understand how students are engaging with the material and identify areas where they might need additional support.
So it's a continuous feedback loop.
It is.
They're learning from the data and using it to improve
the
support they provide.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
But we've been focusing a lot on students.
Right.
What about the staff? How can these tools
good point.
be used to address their specific needs?
So let's say a university is launching a new staff wellness initiative. They could incorporate the mental health podcast series into their program, encourage staff to listen to episodes on topics like managing work-life balance.
That makes sense.
Building resilience to burnout, or even navigating those difficult conversations.
Right, and then they could use B-Spatial to set personal goals related to their well-being, like prioritizing exercise or carving out time for mindfulness practices.
Exactly, and because B-Spatial collects anonymized data, the university can start to see trends in staff well-being. Are there certain departments where stress levels are consistently high?
Oh, interesting.
Are there specific times of the year when people are feeling more overwhelmed?
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
So instead of waiting for someone to reach a breaking point, they can use this data to implement preventative measures.
Precisely. They could offer targeted workshops. Create peer support groups. Or adjust workloads to alleviate stress during those peak periods.
This is really shifting the paradigm from reactive to proactive. It's about creating a culture of prevention and early intervention.
Exactly.
But let's zoom out a bit. What does this approach mean for the overall culture of universities?
Well, by embracing these innovative tools and promoting open conversations about mental health, universities are sending a powerful message.
What is that?
That well-being matters. It's not something to be swept under the rug or dealt with in isolation. It's an integral part of a thriving academic community.
It's about normalizing the conversation.
It is.
Making it okay to not be okay. And creating a space where people feel safe asking for help.
Exactly. And that cultural shift can have ripple effects.
Oh, really?
Far beyond the university walls.
How so?
When institutions prioritize well-being.
Yeah?
It sets a powerful example for other organizations and for society as a whole.
So it's about recognizing that investing in mental health isn't just the right thing to do. It's also the smart thing to do.
It is, absolutely. When people feel supported and valued, they're more likely to be engaged, productive, and successful in all aspects of their lives.
Right. So this benefits the individual, the institution, and ultimately society as a whole.
Absolutely.
This has been incredibly eye-opening.
It has.
We've seen how universities can leverage technology and data to create more effective and personalized mental health support systems. But I think there's another piece to this puzzle that we haven't addressed yet.
What's that?
The benefits for the universities themselves. Let's explore that in the final part of our deep dive. We've been talking about how universities are using these podcasts, these interactive platforms, and data to support student and staff mental health. It's impressive.
It is.
But it also makes you wonder, what's in it for the universities? It can't just be altruism, can it?
Of course not. I mean, universities they're complex institutions with a variety of goals. But what's remarkable about this approach is that it creates this win-win situation. By investing in mental well-being, universities aren't just fulfilling a moral obligation. They're also setting themselves up for success.
I'm intrigued. Break it down for me.
Okay.
How does supporting mental health actually benefit the university itself?
Well, think about it. When students and staff are, struggling with stress, anxiety, or burnout, it impacts their ability to learn, to teach, to do research, to contribute to the university community.
Right.
Their performance suffers, their engagement declines, and their overall well-being just takes a hit.
It's hard to focus on your studies or your work when you're dealing with mental health challenges.
Yeah, exactly. So by addressing these issues head-on and providing effective support, universities are essentially investing in their most valuable asset, their people.
Right.
When students and staff feel supported and valued, they're more likely to thrive.
So happier, healthier people contribute to a happier, healthier university.
Exactly.
It's a pretty simple equation.
It is.
But does this actually translate to tangible benefits for the institution?
Absolutely.
Like what?
Research has shown that universities with strong mental health support systems tend to have higher student retention rates, improved academic performance, and even increased research output.
Really?
Yeah.
Those are some compelling arguments.
Yeah.
But there's also the issue of attracting talent.
Oh, right. In this really competitive academic landscape.
It's fierce out there.
How does mental health support play into that?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Prospective students and faculty are increasingly prioritizing mental well-being when they're choosing a university.
Okay.
They're looking for institutions that demonstrate a genuine commitment to supporting the whole person.
Yeah.
Not just their academic or professional achievements.
So it's becoming a selling point.
It is.
A way for universities to stand out and attract the best and brightest minds.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just attracting talent.
Okay.
It's also about retaining the amazing people they already have.
Right.
When faculty and staff feel supported and valued, they're more likely to stay with the institution, reducing turnover rates and saving the university time and resources in the long run.
So it's a smart investment.
It is.
From both an ethical and a financial standpoint.
Absolutely.
But let's shift gears a bit.
We've been focusing on the institutional level.
Right.
But what about us as individuals? What role do we play in creating a culture of well-being, regardless of, our affiliation with the university?
This is where the conversation gets really interesting. While institutions have a responsibility to provide resources and support, creating a culture of well-being is a collective effort.
Okay.
We all have a role to play.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
But what can we actually do? Especially those of us who aren't directly involved with the university.
It starts with awareness.
Okay.
We need to educate ourselves about mental health issues, challenge stigma, and create open spaces for conversations about well-being.
So talking about it more, normalizing it, not brushing it under the rug.
Exactly. And it's not just about talking. It's about actively listening to those around us, offering support when needed, and showing empathy and compassion.
What if someone I know is struggling? What are some practical things I can do to help?
Start by simply being there for them.
Okay.
Listen without judgment.
Yeah.
Validate their feelings and encourage them to seek professional help if needed. Just let them know they're not alone.
Okay, and what about those of us who are part of university communities?
Yeah.
Students, faculty, staff, what can we do?
We can be advocates for change within our institutions.
Okay.
We can push for better mental health resources, support awareness campaigns, and create peer support networks.
So it's about being proactive, not just waiting for things to change.
Right.
It's about speaking up, raising awareness, and creating a culture of support from the ground up.
Exactly. And remember, even small actions can make a big difference. A simple check-in with a friend, a kind word to a colleague, or a willingness to listen without judgment. These gestures can have a profound impact on someone's well-being.
It's about those little ripples of kindness that spread outward and create a more compassionate world.
This has been a really insightful deep dive.
It has.
We've explored the challenges, the solutions, and the collective responsibility we all share in creating environments that prioritize mental well-being.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing conversation.
It is.
And one that we all need to be a part of.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us on this journey. And until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.